I'm Skip from Oklahoma City. Way to go, Thunder.
I'm Ernestine from New York City.
Not way to go.
And not way to go, but my ear is blown out.
Oh,
but,
great.
Okay.
Well, that's what
We're off to a start.
That's what happens when you hang with me on TV, right? That's what we're doing. And this is the star of the show. This is Hazel. She's licking my fingers for reasons I don't know. She likes the taste of my fingers.
Yes, so.
I don't know. She's from Burbank, California, out here where we are in Los Angeles, California. And this is Skip versus Ernestine round 31, brought to you by FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Quick callback, flashback to last week. It's gotten so crazy that pretty soon we'll be told that Sabrina is a carpenter, just the way Jesus was a carpenter. So maybe Sabrina is the second coming now, because it's gotten that weird for us. She'd like to be the second coming of Madonna, only Sabrina knows, I believe, that she needs to be outrageous because she has a voice that won't sustain her career. That's just me.
I thought you were going to talk about the Carpenters, my favorite group
from the 70s.
Good one. But Karen Carpenter,
hey,
you could not beat Karen Carpenter's
You talk about golden
voice.
Pipes.
Karen
wow,
Carpenter,
go check her out on YouTube.
Oh,
if you want somebody who can
We've only
flat
just
out
begun.
sing. That's a good point. You know, she is just...
Karen Carpenter was so underrated.
She's
First
up there
of all,
with
she was a terrific drummer. She was a female drummer way before it was cool to be a female drummer. And she had an amazing voice. And
was very flawed, like so many of the artists were very flawed.
She wasn't that flawed. She just was anorexic. But songs like... I think a lot of people that are out there have gotten married to a lot of Carpenter songs. We've only just begun. That's like a #1 wedding song. Yeah. And that was Karen Carpenter. So check out the Carpenters, Karen Carpenter.
I don't think people are still using Carpenter songs.
Yes, they are.
Are they?
It's one, yeah. I don't think you know that much about wedding songs, but...
I think you're living in the past a bit on that one.
No.
No?
Etta James, #1 song for weddings. She's from the 40s and 50s.
Okay.
So I think you got to bone up on your wedding songs.
Whitney Houston? No? She gets sing.
Wow. She could, but I'm talking about Karen Carpenter, who...
You are.
Anyway.
And I agree. And so, again,
back to the originally scheduled
flashback.
Programming.
This is Jason_Steps_43. First Taylor, as in Swift. Mm-hmm. Now Sabrina. Who's next on your pop music, quote unquote, hit list? Well, okay, we just told you some pop type singers who, okay. So we haven't said a word about Adele or Christina Aguilera or Beyonce or Rihanna or Billie Eilish or Miley Cyrus or Lana Del Rey, or we could do Gaga, Katy Perry. I know some of them are getting a little older, but still.
Well, I mean, if we don't go there, what are we going to do? Start talking about 12-year-olds? I mean, seriously. Ariana Grande, she's getting a little older, and she was the younger. So
that's a good one. That's a very good one.
I mean, what are we going to do? Start talking about 5-year-olds?
We haven't ripped her. Yeah, that's true.
You can't dismiss somebody because they get to be 30 years old.
I'd lost track of how old Christina Aguilera is. She's 44, so she's been there and done all that. Katy Perry has turned 40, and Gaga is 39 going on 40.
But I don't... Where are you getting 16-year-olds? Okay, if you want to go to the K-pop groups, or, I mean...
Well, here's Dr. Trey_4, who says, Skip is an Olivia Rodrigo fan.
She's great.
You know what? I am. Driver's License, Traitor. I like those songs. I think she's got
very good,
true pain, passion in her voice that's real to me.
She's very good.
I don't think she's a creation or a fabrication. I think she's legit. Keeping it very 100 is Olivia. That's just me. And this is from Pecos, R.O.B. Rob. So Skip has moved on from who is the GOAT of basketball to who is the GOAT of pop music. Love it, says Rob. Okay.
I think basketball is still #1 in your...
I'd say. But Madonna is still way up there when it comes to just pop music. Not rock and roll music, or I don't know, it's just pop. But it's the highest form of pop was Madonna.
Yes, she will always be. Yeah. She will always reign. So
okay, she will.
It is what it is.
And then finally, we'll give the last word to infamous 70702, who says Sabrina Carpenter will never be on a Taylor Swift level, but she's definitely a cultural icon.
Okay, that's fine.
Says infamous. Man, icon, it's just hard
but
for me to go
everybody has their own
icon.
idea of who icons are.
Yeah.
They rank them. She's not my icon. She's not your icon. She's many people's icons, and that's why she's where she is.
Onward and upward to the first question about the latest event that we should discuss, which is, this is via email from Lewis from Washington, D.C. Jeff Bezos' week-long wedding.
That event.
Would you intend if you, would you attend if you were invited? And number two, do you think weddings should be so over the top? Okay.
If Hazel can stop licking for 1 minute, she's very distracting.
Not to me, but.
I am so over this wedding, more than I can tell you. I'm over the build-up to the wedding. Now the wedding.
I'm not over it because I didn't really follow it.
You don't follow anything but sports. So how can you
casually follow
I have been inundated. This is like when we talked about Belichick, but only this is like magnified by 8 billion. I don't even get this. I understand he is one of the wealthiest men in the world, okay? And he's marrying her. But why is this so in everybody's face? I don't know why. When I look, I can't get away from it. And I read every entertainment magazine, and I get from Hollywood Reporter to Variety to every online outlet. And everywhere I look, I've now had to be the whole weekend bombarded with who went to the wedding. Why are these people showing up? Why is Tom Brady there? Why is Tom Brady hanging out with, I can't even think of her name now. Sweeney, what's her name?
I don't know.
Sydney Sweeney.
Okay, Sydney Sweeney.
Okay, they stayed at the bar. They closed the bar. They were there till 2 or 3 in the morning. So you're putting together all of these people. And then I read that Mom Kardashian was invited with Kim. But if you had seen the photos of Kylie and Kendall and all the Ks, I don't know, the Ks, they were not invited, but the mom called, I don't know, Lauren, I guess, and said, or Jeff, I don't know which one she's more friends with, they have to come. So that's the only reason they weren't even invited. So then you see the photos of them getting off the little ferry, getting onto the bigger yacht, and they weren't even invited. So why are these people invited? They don't even know. I mean, they have no personal connection. You just have anybody who's anybody. And I like Gayle King, and Oprah is there, and Gayle is next to her. And and I understand Gayle went up to the moon, but that was her connection to. But why is everyone invited? Who are they? I know he has money. He's got more money than anyone on the planet.
Yep.
Okay. But why does everybody have to go to their wedding? Like, I don't understand. And she was a KTLA reporter who was married to your ex-Fox employee for a while, right?
I don't know.
Gonzalez.
Oh, that's right. Oh, I forgot
Remember?
about Tony Gonzalez.
I guess he went to the wedding. I don't even know.
Did he? Okay.
I don't know. I didn't check.
Oh,
I know
I
her
forgot
kid
about
went to the
that.
wedding. Her kids.
You're way ahead of me.
But, well, because I read a lot more than you do in that world. You read more sports than I do. But I'm just to the point, like, why? Princess Di's wedding, I understand it totally. And I was watching it on CNN when it happened. But why do we have to care? It's almost as much as, now George Clooney, they did the same exact thing, okay? But they did it before them. Why the world was caring so much about George Clooney and Amal, I don't get. I really don't care. But why do we have to care about Lauren Sanchez getting married to Jeff? I don't understand. Is she royalty?
You're really worked up about it.
Oh, I'm so sick of seeing it. You don't understand. I read way more than you. Go on Yahoo. There's 25 stories today about it, and then what she wore, and then she wanted her dress, and then it's a $50 million wedding, and she lost weight, and how she lost weight was not by doing alcohol.
I read a lot about the prenup. It was bigger than the wedding itself, I think.
It's just, I don't know. This is what the world cares about. I have no answer for it.
I get it because it became the international event of the year. No matter who they are or where they came from, they are they as we speak. They are the couple in the world right now.
But why do we have to care about it? That's what I don't understand.
Only
why?
Because of his money. Because he's
because
the
of his
quote
money,
unquote
we have
richest
to be,
man on earth.
We have to be bombarded with.
So it becomes a fairy tale wedding for people on the outside looking in, because she's the equivalent of royalty. She married into quote unquote financial wealthy
this is so
royalty.
Pathetic.
You know,
it's
wealth
really
royalty.
Pathetic.
Okay, well she did, and.
Well, do you think that she's going to get all that money if they divorce?
Women fantasize about what would it be like to be in her shoes. She's Cinderella.
Well, I could understand fantasizing about Meghan Markle more than I could understand fantasizing about her.
All right.
Okay? Meghan Markle actually became a duchess, and she married a prince.
She did.
She's Buckingham Palace. That was a real fantasy.
Diana also.
And Diana, but Diana was more legit in the sense she wasn't an actress. She was just, she came out of that world. So that was a real, that's a beautiful story.
She died very tragically.
That was a horrible story, but it was a beautiful story, then became a horrible story. But then, so Meghan is more qualified to be in that world. But I don't understand how this is a princess story. If they divorce tomorrow, is she getting all of his money? I didn't read the prenup.
I don't know. I didn't read it, but I doubt it.
I don't think
Seriously.
so.
I think there's a long, protracted battle over that. So I'm guessing she probably lost that battle.
I don't think he's splitting everything.
She'll be fine.
Oh my God!
If they split tomorrow, she'll be
fine,
just
even
fine.
if she didn't.
Okay.
All
right. So I understand why celebrities would go, because it's the place to be and be seen. It's if you
but don't
want
you usually
to
go to a wedding if you have some
but
connection?
if you want to self-promote yourself in this social media age, you have to go. I didn't even know where it was. Venice?
Venice.
Okay,
it was
Venice.
Exactly where George Clooney and Amal got married.
Idea. Okay.
But these people that are showing up,
I read that the people in Venice weren't real happy about it.
No, but it's such a disconnect.
I know, but
Orlando Bloom. It's like,
but you can't blame them for going, because it's a fantasy weekend. It's the food and the drink would be of the highest order.
But maybe
right?
I'm living in another world. But I always thought you go to a wedding if you have a connection to either the bride or the groom. A lot of these people had no connections to either one, so you're just going to go because this is where it's going. This is the place.
Okay,
whatever.
If I got invited, I would attend, and I
would not have attended.
I'd have to go solo.
You would have to go hang out with the Kardashians.
I don't know. She wouldn't come.
There's a bunch of them that weren't invited.
Tell
Please,
Kim Kardashian, Ernestine wouldn't come.
I do not want to even be part of this.
I'm available. Right?
You can go hang out with them. I don't think Timothy Chalamet. I didn't see anything about Timothy Chalamet.
No? Did she go?
Yes, I'm saying they had to go because the mom got them tickets. Tickets.
Okay. So
it's crazy.
Just as I'm not qualified to talk about this, I am qualified to talk about weddings in general. And I do want to make this point.
What are you, a minister or something?
No.
What, did you get ordained?
I'm a one-time victim.
Oh, that's right. You were victimized at your past wedding.
Okay.
Right.
So my junior high school sweetheart and I unfaithfully got married.
Right.
Because we thought we had to, because everybody else was getting married.
Well, she wasn't pregnant.
No, I don't mean that. It's just that
you put the time
you were
in, so now you
together
had
for so long, and she also went to Vanderbilt. She was a year behind, so when she graduated, it's like, well, I guess we're supposed to get married,
right?
And of course, her mom and her dad, they're going to pay for it, so they're going to throw the biggest party they can throw.
Well, it wasn't like Jeff Bezos.
No, but I'm just saying this is in Oklahoma City,
I don't
Oklahoma.
think they'd spend $50 million.
But we rented the biggest church possible, and we sold out a giant sanctuary. I don't know what it held. I don't know, 1,000
10 people?
Whatever. No, it was big. It's a big mega church sanctuary. Right. And she had, I believe, 12 what do you call them?
Bridesmaids?
Bridesmaids. I couldn't think of bridesmaids. She had 12, which required me to have 12 groomsmen. Right. So I'm asking people who I barely know, right?
Hey, what are you doing Sunday? You want to come over?
Yeah, I could rent you a tux. And these people came from, we went to school in Nashville, so we live in Oklahoma City. So a whole bunch of people.
Are you comparing your wedding to the Bezos?
No, I'm trying to talk about wedding. I'm going to get to a point. I'm going to get to a conclusion. I'm just saying.
Ferry to your wedding? Yeah.
It was a disaster of a night, because what I found was so much effort, so much money went into this wedding by our little I made no money at that point. In fact,
and her parents weren't
no, they didn't have much
wealthy.
money, but whatever, they went into debt over this because they did it right. And
well,
we
that's
had the
what
big
everybody does.
after
They go
party,
into
and
debt
we
for
had
their
the giant
weddings.
cake and all the things that happened. And we had the big rehearsal dinner the night before that was for my mother to throw, which was pretty much of a bust. But the point was, so much pressure went into this, so much expectation went into this, that by the time the night was over, as I've told, I think I've told the story on here, I can't remember, but I had so little, I'm working for a newspaper in the Miami Herald, and I'm 1 year out of college, and my mother doesn't have any money, so I don't have any money.
Right.
And I gave her a choice. I said, we can either go on a honeymoon or we can do wedding presents for each other, one or the other. And she said honeymoon.
Right.
So we were going to go to San Francisco, where I'd never been before, nor had she.
Right.
And then she also gets me a wedding present, a picture of her and her gown, or what do you call it? Bridal.
Egomaniac.
Okay, whatever.
Right.
It was a disaster. And what I learned from the wedding was that the wedding hurt the marriage. It did. Like, we were never the same after the build up, and it builds up for a couple of months, the pressure and expectation of it.
Yeah.
And I don't think we ever recovered from the wedding itself.
Right.
Damaged the marriage. That's my point. And so you throw these, obviously, this
and
wasn't.
the picture she gave you.
Yeah. Well,
she didn't get one of you. She just got one of her.
No. I don't know.
She's like, here, I'm important.
Look, we were ill-fated. I never
God.
hated her, but we were like brother and sister by that point.
We can hate her now.
Okay, you can hate her if you want to.
I
don't hate her.
I hate her.
But the point is that these giant weddings, and this is on the grandest scale that you can have a wedding, it can damage your relationship because you don't recover from it, because it's such a party with so much expectations that you probably don't quite live up to, that the stress and strain of it puts a stress and strain on your relationship, where you have to kind of rebuild your union after the post-wedding.
Well, I just think that it's a lot of pressure, and people, they dream of a wedding their whole life. A lot of women, I don't know if guys do, but women dream of wedding their whole life. And one day I'm going to get married and I'm going to have this.
The best thing we did, to me,
we went to City Hall.
We went to City Hall, like on a whim, like we were going to get married because
we just
were
figured
coming
we had
out
nothing
here
to do for the
LA.
day, so we just
This
got
is 2016, and we'd been together for 11 years.
Yeah.
11 years we've been together, and we were fine. But if we're going to pick up roots and take her out of New York City and bring her to Los Angeles, I said, well, we should just go.
No, I said I'm not moving out there unless we get married.
I said it too.
Oh, you did?
I did.
Okay, all right.
I said there's no way we're going to do this.
Not going to do this unless we get married. But I think if we still lived in New York, we probably would not have been married, because there was no reason to get married.
She's gone to sleep.
Hazel says otherwise I'd be considered a bitch.
She would be. That's a good point.
She said if you didn't get married, I'd have to deal with.
So we literally just.
We ran down to City Hall. We knew the judge, who was our friend, George. And
hi, George.
And we got married, and the bailiff was our witness.
The bailiff.
Yeah. It was like night court.
And the stenographer was also a witness.
Yeah, she was a witness.
We kept two people to be. Yeah, you need two witnesses. Yeah. And then George Silver, the judge, gave a great speech.
He did. He's
us.
a wonderful
person. It was just
person.
to us.
Yeah.
And
then we went back and you watched
we went
basketball.
Home and I watched.
It was
couldn't have been
July 28th.
Maybe I watched Summer League basketball.
Yeah, it was Summer League.
Hey, it's okay.
Whatever.
Yeah. Whatever.
Anyway.
Okay, but then we weren't damaged by our wedding.
No, we were damaged from other things, but not from the wedding.
But you've been damaged just by the publicity.
I'm damaged. I
ongoing
can't take it anymore.
Of publicity.
You can't take it anymore.
You can't take it anymore. So this conversation has officially ended for her sake.
Yes, thank you.
Next question's from Erica, all the way from Paris, France.
Wow.
Way to go, Erica.
Love Paris.
In famous couples news, says Erica from Paris, I saw that Orlando Bloom is now hanging.
He was at the wedding.
Hanging with Kim K.
He was at the wedding.
Seems pretty quick since he and Katy Perry just broke up. How soon is too soon to start dating someone new after a breakup, Miss Ernestine?
I think they've probably had issues all along. I think by the time it surfaces to the media, they've already moved out. They're not together. They haven't been together for a while. So I
Yeah,
think
you're probably right.
I think he's fine. He wants to go to the wedding. Maybe pick somebody up at the bar, 2:00 in the morning, dancing at the.
Wait a second. He's with Kim.
I don't think. I mean, I know I saw him with Kim there, but I don't know. There was a whole group of people with
Why would
Kim
you need
and
to
him.
pick somebody else up if you've got her?
Oh God, here we go again. Oh, she's larger than life.
No, but she's sexy. She
Well,
has
the
a
track
sexy
record,
mystique
the
about.
track
Okay,
record of.
that's the point.
Would you think you're going to have a relationship with her and it's going to last? Let's
No,
look
but
at the
that's not
notches
what
on her
he's
belt.
after
Oh, well, one night stand is
post-breakup.
fine, or a wedding stand,
Or a
whatever.
1 month stand.
I think,
right?
however long you've had issues with the person and then you're finally out of it, I say you should just start dating. What the heck? There's no mourning period.
No.
Right? Unless you're heartbroken from the person who said they don't want the relationship anymore, then it's going to be harder for you to find somebody.
Yeah. But if he's just hanging with Kim K, it's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just having a good time.
I just think in that case, he and Katy Perry probably have been not a couple for a while. But I think in real life that if you break up with someone, you should just start dating immediately. But if you're the person that was broken up with and you still wanted to be with that person, then it's going to be much harder.
Okay.
Then you got to force yourself.
Orlando Bloom, hot or not?
I like him. He's not like I would run through fire for him.
No?
No. Okay. But I think he's cute.
I would run through fire for him. No, I think
he was in.
I think he's a good-looking guy.
Pirates of Penzance?
Yeah, no,
not Pirates.
No,
Pirates of
Caribbean.
Yeah, Pirates of Penzance was the play.
Yeah.
Caribbean. I like him. Again, he's not my top 10 list.
No?
No.
I would think you'd like the hair.
No.
No?
I mean, no.
Okay. Next question. This is Mickey from Jacksonville, Florida. Anna Wintour, icon or overrated?
Okay, let's
Ernestine.
preface this by saying that Skip does not even know who Anna Wintour is.
I do know from Devil Wears Prada. I think she's Meryl Streep. That's who I think she is.
I would say 98% of people in this world know who Anna Wintour is. Okay, because Anna Wintour.
We had this
conversation that it's like talking to somebody who has a blockhead. I don't understand. Anna Wintour is the most influential female woman in fashion for the last 37 years. Now, whether or not you're a fashionista, you don't like fashion, you don't whatever.
She was the editor of...
She's the editor of Vogue. Okay, and before that, she was British Vogue. But this is a woman who, if you're not even into fashion and you're into pop culture, she oversees the Met Gala every year. Yeah. So there are people that show up there. It's kind of like the wedding in Venice. Everybody in the world goes to the Met Gala, who's a who's who, and they know who Anna Wintour is. So she's not overrated to me. To me, she has earned her stripes. 37 years at Vogue is a long time. And she's still going to be involved, but it's more like corporate heaven-y kind of thing. And she's an icon. Her look, just her stamp on Vogue.
I will give you icon to those who know her, but I can tell you for a fact, outside of fashion, 10% of the world knows who she is.
How do you think they made the movie The Devil Wears Prada?
Because it was a great story.
But they knew it's about Anna Wintour.
She's the evil queen.
Right, but it's based on...
She's the villain.
It's based
she's
on
a great
Anna
villain.
Wintour. So people that didn't know anything, when the movie came out and they were wondering, oh, that's an interesting movie. What's that? Is that a real life story? And they look, oh, it's based on this woman named Anna Wintour.
No.
Hazel knows who Anna Wintour is.
So we were at the mall on Saturday, going back and forth, walking her at the Century City Mall, greatest mall in America.
Yep.
And we're going back and forth about this. And so I bring up my friends in Oklahoma City, Sam and Reagan, whose baby, we're taping this right now, could already have arrived, baby Hope. But I said, Sam and Reagan, who are like, I think Sam's
24, 25.
I think Sam's 28 or 9.
Oh, okay.
And she's 24-ish.
24, okay.
Anyway, I said, there's no way they know who Anna Wintour is. And Ernestine said, yes, they know who Anna Wintour is. She said, especially Reagan's just going to know.
Well.
Okay. And I immediately texted both of them, and they had no clue who Anna Wintour was.
No offense, they're not the barometer
No.
of the world.
Okay,
I mean,
but
so
you said
because she doesn't
98%
know
of the
who
world.
Anna Wintour is,
Okay.
you know, I'm sorry, she should know who Anna Wintour is. It's
Okay,
a pop
maybe she
culture
should.
icon.
Okay.
You have to be aware of the world around you, fashion, music, entertainment, politics. It just makes the world go round. So I knew my parents listened to Benny Goodman, who nobody knows who Benny Goodman is unless you're a real big music fan. I knew when I was 14 years old who Benny Goodman was.
But you're an old soul.
Yeah,
you
but
have like an amazing grasp. You know, movies from the 20s and 30s. I don't know.
I know, but what
And
I'm saying is you have to
you.
be aware of other things outside of your little nucleus that every day you work in.
So,
you know,
Anna Wintour is not. She's not overrated because she's not highly rated. It's not like everybody knows who she is. It's not like 98% of the people know, and half of them think she's underrated and half think she's overrated.
I think 98%
but within
of
her
people
realm,
know.
she is definitely an icon.
I think I can go out in Beverly Hills today on the street and ask 30 people, do you know who Anna Wintour is? And they would say yes.
Okay. Well, we may
maybe
have to
I'm delusional, but yeah, I'm going to go. I'll go ask the women.
Man in the street in Beverly Hills.
Billy on the street.
Let's try it.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, nothing else to do today.
By the way, before I move on to the next question, I do want to take issue once again with your driving because I'm not a backseat driver. I'm a passenger seat driver because she insists, because of female empowerment, which I respect. She insists that often when we do go to Beverly Hills for an appointment,
we go more than just Beverly Hills. People think all we do is just go to Beverly Hills and the mall. We actually do venture other places.
Not really, but
you don't. You stay in your room watching sports.
No, I go to Brentwood Golf.
Oh, okay. So you go
country club.
You could have a tracker on you. Just go to the golf course and go to the mall in Beverly Hills. Okay.
Okay.
Well, anyway,
the point
I was driving.
She often says, "I'll drive." Because she has a car that she loves.
No, because I know my way around places more than you do. Even though I walk most of the places, I still know
she knows
streets.
She is the mayor of the mall and of Beverly Hills. And
not a great title.
Because of that,
whatever.
She just says, I'll drive.
I say I'll drive because I know which way the streets
go. That forces me to sit in the passenger seat, and it forces me to hang on for dear life and close my eyes.
He's got such...
Because...
You got issues, man. You got issues.
Her biggest issue is that she won't make peace with is out here many times there are two right or left turn lanes.
Yeah.
Right or left.
Yes.
They're double lanes.
Yes.
So when the arrow goes green one way or the other.
You can be in the right if you're in the right.
But if you're turning left and you're in the outside lane, you can't immediately swerve into the inside lane because you're going to cut somebody off.
The only time I
you
do
have
that,
to stay in your lane.
The only time I do that, like over here, there's a grocery store, and I'm turning down our street, okay? And why I went into the left lane is because the right lane, they had one of those horse things blocking it, saying the road was narrowing. I guess you didn't see that. Maybe because we
had cones.
But they had the thing that goes like that. You didn't see it. We came back from an eye doctor. Maybe you still had your eyes dilated or something. But honestly, why I wouldn't automatically go from the right, okay, and then cut into the left lane. I've been driving for a long time. I have never gotten one ticket.
She's a good driver.
I'm an excellent driver. My father was an excellent driver. He taught me how to drive. I got one ticket in my life, and it was out here because you can't park anywhere because these idiot people, there's no parking in Los Angeles, okay?
None.
So I pulled in to get the magazine stand that I go to every week.
She goes and buys
I buy magazines, real live pages you turn. And I parked my car in the parking lot, and you have to put a quarter in the meter. I went over, I put a quarter in the meter, and the meter maid, when I walked away, she went and she put a thing on my car. And when I came out, I saw I had the thing on my car for $58. And I went, and then the newsstand guy, Nick, who's very nice, he said to me, well, you can contest that. So I tried to contest it. Nobody gets back to you. I put a quarter in the meter, and she's telling me I didn't.
Okay. All right.
Because I can't park anywhere.
Nothing to do with driving.
Well, that's right. So I never got a ticket, knock wood, in my life for driving. I drove in the middle of Times Square, Manhattan for 38 years, rush hour.
Yep.
I can drive with the best of them. I could drive a Mack truck.
She could drive a Mack truck. But there are 2 right turn lanes just past the mall going on to what's called Santa Monica Boulevard.
Right.
And when the arrow goes green right,
Yeah.
we start to move, and we're in the outside lane, the left
Right, the
lane
right
to
lane.
turn right.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, as we start to turn, she cuts into the
Well, I
inside
put
lane,
my-
and I'm like, you
I
can't
put my
do it. I'm like,
directional on.
I'm
What are you talking about?
hiding my eyes because somebody behind us is going, what are you
you
doing?
kidding me? What
Because
do
you think everybody out here is a psycho driver, and they're
They-
saying, look at that
They
psycho
are.
driver.
First of all,
She gotta stay in her
even if
lane.
I'm in the right lane, okay, I'm in the right lane and I want to get into the left lane, I don't have to stay in that right lane. I put my directional on and I'd get into the other lane. What's so bad about that?
I don't know.
It's not like I just went right
But you
into the left
immediately,
lane.
while we're in the midst of the turn, and you're starting to veer into their lane, like you can't stop your car from going into
well,
the
if
right
there's
lane.
some stupid jerk in front of me who's going slow and doesn't know where they're driving, they're kind
Oh.
of wavering, I'm not going to stay behind them. I'm going to cut around them.
Okay.
What did I do the other day? I cut around right in the middle of Olympic after the grocery store, and I said, you know what? I'm not going to the corner because all these people don't go to the corner. Why should I? So I just cut around in the middle, just like all these other
Wow.
people.
Okay, you've become an LA driver.
Yeah, terrible.
Okay.
They're the worst.
Next question. This is Jade from St. Louis. I have my ticket for F1 this week.
Oh, Tyler went to see that.
Really? You already went to see it? I'll
Yeah,
have
he
to check
saw it
out his
opening
review.
day.
And I could so see Skip driving like that. So could I.
Yeah.
Skip, how fast have you ever gone in that Corvette of yours, my ZR1? It's classic. And Ernestine, how do you handle it when you're in the car with Skip when he's going that fast?
I don't get in the car.
She rarely.
I have been in the car with him
rarely.
when you were working at ESPN,
Because
and
she
I
would
would
have
go
no
to
choice
Connecticut.
because she would come up in a car service car to
Right,
see
and I
me.
didn't have
So
a
on the
car.
weekend, when we went out to eat, she would have no choice,
Yeah,
so
I
she
had to
had to
go in his
ride
car.
in my ZR1.
Yeah.
I had a previous model of it when I was there. This one is the one here, but that one.
Didn't you have this? You had this one there too.
I did not.
You never had this car in Connecticut?
I had it built special for me here in 2019.
You had. What was the car you had in the garage there?
It was the previous version of the ZR1.
It was a Corvette?
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember it.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was it. Anyway, but we would go
okay,
driving somewhere,
this has
and you would go.
755 horse, and that had more like 600 and something horse.
Okay.
But we would go on I-84,
We would
but
go
we'd
on the
only go
highway.
one exit.
One exit.
We'd go from
Go to
Main
the
Street in
movies.
Bristol, but we go to Queen Street.
Right, and we go to the movies.
Okay, it's the next
and then
exit
what he
down.
would do
It's
is
like a mile.
when we would get off of the ramp to go to the surface street, if there was nobody there, he would just gun it, and then
but
it would be like 150 miles an hour.
I wouldn't go 150, but I would just slowly but surely build. And I rarely used fifth gear in that car because here in LA you just never get to fifth gear. There's no place to get to fifth gear.
Right.
So I would just ease into fifth gear, and these are race cars. They're
I know, but
built
we're
for
not
the
racing
track.
on the Indianapolis
I know,
Speedway. We're just
but this
going
is-
on the I-95.
This is a
whatever it was.
straightaway where I-84.
I-84.
You can see that there's no cops sitting over the rise because it's straightaway.
I know,
to
but
Queen
you
Street.
would just gun it, and
I wouldn't gun it. I would slowly but surely accelerate, and then I would ease off.
It was like
as we-
150 miles an hour.
Okay, we didn't go 150, but there was
You've gone
one time.
138.
No, I haven't. I haven't gone that fast. That's really fast. That's like racetrack fast.
Okay, what are you saying?
I got one Saturday, daylight, no rain.
Clear
nice,
sailing.
Clear
yeah.
sailing. I hit 125. This is a mile. Like I'm accelerating
That's
off an on ramp
high.
and then down to an exit ramp.
Right, but that's a lot.
Okay, 125 it's going really fast.
All right.
Okay, but you didn't even feel it because the car
Well,
is
because
made
I was
to go
throwing
that
up
fast.
out the
You
window.
weren't throwing up. You didn't even know.
And then I'm holding
And then
on.
we go to the red light
It's
on
terrible.
Queen Street, and I said, "How fast do you think we're going?" And you said, "I don't know, 75." And I said, "No, 125."
I would never say, 75.
She said.
Like I don't know how fast is. I used to look at your speedometer.
Not really. You wouldn't
Yes.
see 125. You would have flipped and like jumped out.
Yeah,
of
I
the
would have
car.
jumped out like a Starsky and
125.
Hutch episode. I would have rolled on the ground like when I got
Right.
hit by the car.
Okay, but
Oh,
she
yeah.
does not like me to drive fast. And out here in
Who
LA,
does?
the
You
problem
can't drive
is,
fast here because you're bumper to bumper
Okay.
wherever you go.
they're making a new ZR1 that's going to have like 1,000 and something, 1,100 horse.
Who's going to drive?
I
Where
don't
are you
know,
going to drive?
because I got
1,000
plenty of
miles an
power.
hour?
I got a rocket ship, And the problem with my rocket ship here in LA is there's nowhere to launch it.
Maybe Bezos can send you to the moon with your rocket ship car.
I can fly to the moon.
Right.
I lost.
Fly to the moon.
Okay. But the point is, I just go light to light here because I rarely get on the freeway. And if you do get on the freeway, you might as well be on the surface streets because there's nowhere,
These people go so fast here anyway. It's just
okay. They go fast on the surface streets, but you can't go fast on the freeways because they're gridlocked.
No, but they're like Olympic. Okay, it's not a highway, but it's a major street.
Yeah, that's where you can fly.
I used to walk on that street when we first moved here. I'd go to the yogurt store, and the problem was people were flying so fast that I was afraid to walk on the side because in case somebody jumps it or hits into another car and spins, they're going 90 miles an hour.
I agree.
It's terrible. I don't drive fast.
So I did get stopped once when I first had this car back in 2019.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just before the pandemic, and I was on Olympic going to the golf course after a show.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even thinking, I wasn't even trying, but it's a fast car, and there was nobody on Olympic at that hour. It's like 9:30.
Yeah.
And I take off from a light, and I think I went 65 maybe in a 45 zone. And I go over the rise, and there's a motorcycle cop waiting.
Yeah.
And he didn't have to pull me over. I just pulled over to him because I knew I was busted. Right. And I rolled down the window and said, "You got me." And he was very nice. And he he could see I still had dealer tags on my car. He was very nice, and he let me off with the warning. I appreciated
that was nice.
Because I think he knew I wasn't trying. I wasn't in a hurry or.
I don't drive fast.
Yeah.
I don't drive fast.
Drive a little crazy, but that's a whole
No,
nother
I don't
issue.
drive fast at all. Because there's no place to go driving fast.
This is an Instagram comment from Amara, A-M-A-R-A, Amara1386, who says, "Skip, in all your photos, why are you always posing like an action figure?" I don't know.
I don't know what kind of action figure, like...
I don't know. Amara?
G.I. Joe?
I don't know. Maybe because I work hard on my
you're
body,
an action
and I'm proud
You're always
of,
in action.
Maybe I'm posing. I don't know. Maybe I should slouch next time, right?
That's funny.
Maybe I should do a sprawling on the couch picture.
I don't know what action figures actually stand like, but I'm not really into action.
By the way,
movies.
she ends with a laughing, crying emoji, so she's laughing.
So that's funny.
Crying, laughing.
Okay.
Okay, I'll take that. But I don't know. I don't think about it. I don't try.
I don't know.
It's just me. I'm an action figure.
Maybe you are an action figure.
Exactly.
Maybe you are G.I. Joe.
This is at Jelly Bryce 7742. Meghan Markle was pretty good on that suit show, but that other stuff just reeks of fake marketing BS hype, as we said last week.
We talk about this again. Yeah, I just read, actually, she just came out with a wine. I read that yesterday.
Oh, yeah?
Her brand, they've added a wine. And everything has sold out in minutes.
Okay, there you go.
So she's got the touch.
Good for her.
She is a duchess.
She's the duchess, but we have a comment from Supermom Carol87 who says Meghan is a duchess of brands.
That is so true. That's good.
I like that. I laughed when I first read that, Supermom.
And they actually sell out, so she's smart.
But finally, this is Courtney Newman from Facebook. Where do you see that Meghan Markle is popular? When I look on Twitter, people are only saying awful, malicious things about her.
Who's that? Who's it from?
From Courtney Newman.
Courtney, you have to buy Us Magazine or People or Life and Style or The Inquirer or The Star or go on Yahoo. She's everywhere.
She's everywhere.
She's everywhere.
I don't begrudge her.
No, nice work if you can get it.
It sounds like she sort of stalked him, and she had a plan, and it worked.
And it worked, and now she's
now
happy.
She is
two
being
kids,
paid off.
And he never can go back to England again.
They've been disowned, so to speak.
They've been deported,
right?
Yeah.
Okay, this is The Heat, 1993. With the 4th coming up, did either of you ever play, quote unquote, play with fireworks as a kid?
I hate fireworks.
Okay.
My mother and father, we were not firework families. We would go, my father would take us, I grew up on Long Island, my father would take us, there was an outdoor area that they would have concerts in, and 4th of July they would have, the spectacular thing where they it was an organized, like the way in New York City, the Macy's fireworks is the biggest fireworks in the world. And I would go there with my family. We'd have a blanket. But I personally, I don't like fireworks. I'm not into it. Unless I'm in New York City and I look at the skyline and I see the 34th Street Macy's is just, we used to see it from upstairs on our building on 54th.
We could see it.
It was incredible.
Yep.
I mean, when they do the red, white, and blue, and they have the Star Spangled Banner playing, that is amazing. Other than, to me, everything else pales.
This is a long-running pet peeve of mine. I don't understand where the tradition first started, and I did participate in it as a child every 4th of July. Hazel.
Yeah.
I don't know where the tradition started that we decided to let children celebrate our independence from England, from Great Britain, by going into the backyard and setting off small explosives. I don't know where that started because it is insanely dangerous.
But that's right up there with
I still have a scar on this
Halloween.
finger right here, which I didn't really blow it off, but I blew it apart. I blew it open. When I held on too long at age, I was probably 6 or 7.
Cherry bomb?
To a black cat. It's just your basic fireworks, but it's a bigger one. They had lady fingers, which were the little ones with the fuses, and this is a small bomb in your hand called a black cat with a fuse. And so you have a punk. I talked about on my show the word punk and the derivation of that word, but there was also a punk, which was like a burning stick of bamboo that would stay lit so that you could light your fireworks.
They grow in the fields, yeah.
Okay, so you would light your fireworks.
Yeah, you light that, and
so
then
if you
it's like
lit
the torch.
If you lit a black cat whose fuse was slightly shorter, way to go. That's a good girl. And you got it in your hand, and you don't toss it quickly enough, the thing is going to
blow up in your hand.
Right.
How many? Okay,
and then there were cherry bombs, which if you let a cherry bomb go in your hand, you're going to lose a finger.
So dangerous.
Because it's a little bomb.
But
where did this start?
I don't know.
Where
but
did the
all I know
start?
is turn the news on the day after the 5th of July, the 7 a.m. news, and you will hear about how many kids blew their arms off, blew their face off, blew whatever. No, there are fatalities. I mean, watch the news. It's just terrible. I don't know why people still insist on doing this.
Wait, we're celebrating our
nightmare.
independence, having won the Revolutionary War post-Boston Tea Party, taxation without representation. So we fight them on our turf. We fight them and successfully defeat them, thanks to George Washington and Valley Forge. And
I know, but we're past
and now we're going to
that.
let kids celebrate it by shooting bottle rockets. They're very dangerous.
I know, but
boom,
forget
boom.
that. We're past the history and all that. Why do people still do this now when it's so dangerous? That's what I forget.
Well, I mean,
the
but that's how it
history of
started.
Yeah.
Why would you forget the history? It's what it is.
No,
it's
but
why it started.
But people nowadays,
now
they don't
even
think
know.
about that.
No.
They just say, hey, like when we used to go out to your friend's house in Oklahoma, okay? They were selling them on the street.
They lived in Edmond.
Yeah.
And so when we went to their golf course, which is
half an hour from where you live.
Oh my God, it's clear
It's all the way out in the fields.
Yes,
it's fields. It's horse country.
Yeah, it's the oak tree complex, the men's course and the family courses, but they're way on the far side of Edmond,
right.
And so you cross over It's okay, Hazel. You cross over the Oklahoma County line, and so you're in whatever the other, I think it's Logan County.
Yeah.
And there fireworks are legal, so there are all kinds of fireworks displays.
You can buy them on the street.
where there's sheds or whatever you call these, it's like at a state fair, and they're just one after another, and they're selling fireworks. You can just pull up and buy to your heart's content
aren't they
what you
legal
want.
here?
I don't
Aren't
think
they legal
so.
in New York?
No.
No, they're illegal.
They would be illegal
well,
in any
city
city limit.
Well, if they're illegal, then how come everybody
but
has
on the
them?
4th of July here in Los Angeles, on the west side of LA, I promise you, as soon as the sun goes down, 9-ish, you can just open the windows and you'll hear fireworks exploding in the neighborhood all over the place.
It's terrible because she starts flipping out.
Well, dogs just do.
It's just so...
She's not a dog. I didn't mean that.
Right.
She's a
You start flipping out
person.
because you're the dog.
I'm a dog.
Right, you're the dog.
Yeah. Okay. Enough about that.
Enough
but
of that.
It is
Ban
my
the fireworks.
pet peeve. This
Ban
is
the
Leslie from
fireworks.
Charlotte, North Carolina. Okay, it's summer, which means it's humid as F out here in North Carolina. How I know. I know you both live in New York, especially Ernestine, growing up there. How did you both endure the humidity, and how much do you love not dealing with it now that you're in LA? That is a very good question, Leslie from Charlotte.
Right,
Thank you for
but
that
it's
question.
false because in LA it is humid. I know only because I get my
It is
hair blown out.
rarely humid
That's
in LA.
not true.
Rarely humid.
You
No,
must live in
rarely.
another. Okay,
I
you
live
must
in
live
LA.
another place in LA.
I play
It's
golf
not where I live.
twice a week, outdoors
don't-
in LA, not indoors.
Oh my God.
Outdoors.
Skip, you have no clue. I know because my hair is the test. If I go to get my hair blown out and I walk back from the hair place, by the time I get back and my hair starts curling up, I know that it's humid out. And it's been humid for the last month.
It has not.
Yes, it hasn't.
Humid
Even don't
for
you
the
remember when
last
I
month?
lost when my voice, I had that sore throat? It was from the humidity that the humidity was so high.
You had a what throat?
Sore throat.
Oh, now you said your R. Sometimes you don't say your R at all.
I had a
It's
sore
Sore
throat.
throat.
I had a sore throat.
Sore throat?
It's a New York accent.
Oh.
Sorry, not everyone can have it. I know you're jealous. But it's humid out here. Now, I spent time in North Carolina because I used to design
I know.
hosiery and lingerie, and I used to go down to Spruce Pine, North Carolina, which was a beautiful place, right an hour and a half from Asheville. And it was humid down there. But nothing beats the humidity in New York City
It is
in July and
terrible.
August.
It is so bad.
But I could never use my hair like this.
I
I'd
used
have to
to
go back to
walk
my wavy hair.
to where I got my hair cut, and it would be a Friday after I came back from Bristol, Connecticut, and I would be on deadline because I had a, 3 o'clock appointment, and I would have 15 minutes to walk across, and you'd say, why don't you take a cab? Because you can walk faster, you could take a cab.
I would never say take a cab. I would always say walk.
No, going east to
You
west
would
in
say
New
to
York
me,
City,
I want to take a
gridlock.
cab because the humidity, I'm going to be
Okay,
sweating.
but I would say, I gotta walk, and I
Right.
gotta walk fast.
Right.
And I have on a short sleeve shirt and shorts or whatever I
Right.
have on, and I would power walk it. I'd almost trot it. And after 5 minutes, I would look down at my shirt and I'm drenched. And now I have to go in this highfalutin salon, this high-end salon, and I'm dripping
But
wet.
I would say, who cares?
And
It's New
I would have
York.
to go up-
Everybody does it.
I would have to go to the owner and say, it's back in the days of Carmine. Remember that? I got
Yeah.
Carmine, Minardi's. And I would go to Carmine, I'd just walk straight in the door and say, Carmine, I am soaking wet.
But
I'm
you
so
always
sorry.
apologize to people for things that are just normal. Everyone in
wait.
New York goes through the same thing. It's just everybody, nobody's saying, oh my God, look at you. You sweat.
Everybody sweats.
Everybody
It's
does.
instant.
You walk out in 5 minutes, but I still love New York, so.
Yeah, and
I
then
don't
I've
care.
been in cities like Houston, which is called, quote unquote, sweat city, because in Houston in the summer, you just walk outside your door and you drip. Okay, because it's high humidity. LA, compared
It's not
to
high
those,
humidity
has no
here.
humidity.
Okay, I give you that. It's not high humidity, but when I watch the weather every morning and I watch every news channel that exists, when they say 60 to 70% humidity, that's high for here.
That's very high.
So
And I told you one day,
it's just like it's never.
last week, I'm playing golf, and after 5 holes, I'm looking down and my shirt is pretty wet. And I turned to my playing partners and I said, it is really humid today, rarely humid today. Because it's rare.
You live in a different part
No,
of LA.
No.
Watch the news and see the humidity.
What do I always
count.
tell you about these houses around here that you can't buy because they're $20 million?
Yeah.
I say, that house is worth $20 million because of this. And I gesture to
I give it to
no
you that it's better than
humidity.
humidity than New
Yeah.
York City, but
Yeah.
it's not. Listen, before I moved here, I thought this place had no humidity, like this was a nirvana, no humidity. But
It's
that's not
nirvana.
true.
Well, it is nirvana. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it is.
Nirvana to you, mediocre to me.
I mean, when we first moved out here, I was thinking, maybe on the weekends we'll go to Palm Springs,
Yeah.
And I realized you don't need to go to Palm. We used to go to Palm
Yes, you
Springs on
do.
vacation from New York.
Yes.
But you don't need to go to Palm Springs because the weather here is better than Palm Springs.
It's a different different place. I still love Palm Springs.
Yeah. Okay.
Not in the summer when you want to play golf at 121 degrees, where they make you sign a waiver in case you drop dead on the golf course.
They have asked me to sign a waiver.
Right, but
I'm
you're
going
the nut.
in 2 weeks. I'm going to go do it again.
Right, but
I'm going to
no
play
one
5
will
straight
go
days.
play
And it's going to
golf
be
in 120 degrees.
I will, because
There
there's
you go.
nobody on the golf course. And there's no humidity, so it doesn't matter.
Oh my God, it's still,
If
I don't
it's
care if you tell
115
me
with
there's
humidity,
no
you're
humidity.
gonna die.
Okay, we've been out there 120 degrees. You know it's hot. I'm sorry, humidity or not,
Well, you
it's hot.
better drink, as in hydrate.
Right. Okay.
Okay. This is Jay from, speaking of humid, Tampa, Florida. Jay says, one of my favorite shows, The Gilded Age, just returned for its new season. Ernestine, how do you think you would do as a socialite? And Skip, do you think you would kill it as an oil baron?
Oh.
Okay, could you be a socialite?
I could be a socialite, but I would be a different type of socialite. I'd be a socialite who is nice to people. That's number one.
Well,
and
that's an oxymoron.
Not snooty.
Yeah.
And not affected, and would not talk down to people. So I would be a different socialite. So I guess maybe I wouldn't be able to be a socialite.
I think you would have a hard time playing a socialite because you don't like socialites.
No, I don't. Well, it's not that I don't like socialites. I just don't like sometimes their attitude towards people.
Yeah, agreed.
And so I could be one, but I'd have to change the definition and the characteristics of a socialite.
Yeah, there's only one diva in this household, and you're holding her right now.
It's Hazel.
She is a socialite.
Hazel.
She runs Beverly Hills.
Well, what about you? You could be an oil baron.
Okay, I could be an oil baron because I've known so many oil barons. I have seen them my whole life. I've known NFL owners.
And Billy Bob is now playing.
He's playing
in the world of oil.
He's not an oil baron.
No, but he's in the world of oil baron. Yeah.
Yeah, but I could probably pull that off.
I think you could.
Yeah.
I'd give that to you.
Okay, so now it's time for. Let me make sure I didn't miss a question. I didn't miss a question. Okay,
good.
Now it's time for Skip and Ernestine go to the movies on the couch. This is where we watch most of our movies.
Hazel's photobombing right now.
Hazel. That's a good girl.
Hazel, you got to take over all
Okay, so last week we watched 2 movies on the couch. We watched The Amateur, or Amateur as they say in the Northeast. Amateur. Featuring Rami Malek.
I love him.
And we liked it
I liked
a lot.
it.
I would give it a B+.
I thought he was great.
I thought the action, the writing was great. I thought he carried it as kind of a nerdy brainiac who has to outsmart the villains who kill his wife.
He's very good.
Yeah.
I really like him.
Yeah.
I mean, he was incredible as Freddie Mercury.
And it has, we're about to get to a question about twist endings, but the endings, well done.
Yeah, it is. It's good. It's a good movie.
I didn't guess
it's a good popcorn kind of movie for the summer.
It's a good popcorn movie, but he was very good at playing unphysical.
Yeah.
He's the opposite of what we're about to talk about, which is the accountant 2, the second accountant. We saw the first one. Now we've seen both of them. Starring, of course, Ben Affleck, who's 52 years of age in this one.
He's good.
But
I like the first one better, I have to say.
Yeah, I did too because, well, it's all new.
It was the original, yeah.
But John Bernthal plays his brother in this one.
I like him a lot. He's a good actor.
This is the flip side of The Amateur because both these guys are badass, physical. They're almost bullies. John Bernthal is like a hitman bully.
He's great. We just watched him in another. What was the other movie we saw? We saw him in 2 in one day, right? We watched him. He was in the other movie. I can't remember. We watched something he was in the night before.
See, you hit me out of the blue with these
Was he in the Rami Malek movie?
Was he briefly in it?
I don't remember.
Maybe
I don't remember. I think he was. That's why we watched 2 days in a row. He was in both movies. Yeah. Anyway, but it was good.
It's good. Very good.
Okay.
Okay, but The Accountant 2. So Affleck to me is very good at playing this character
who's autistic.
He's autistic,
basically.
and
he's like Rain Man.
He's a Rain Man character, and the speech pattern
Oh, he's
is like
really
this, and his speech
talented.
is very soft. But when you least expect it, he can kick your ass.
Yeah, he was good, boy.
And yet they don't show his body because I don't think he's in great shape at 52.
I think he looks pretty good.
Okay, but he wears loose-fitting clothes, so,
Yeah,
so
I don't
there's
think he's like a workout warrior,
but
he's
he pulls
got,
off the physicality, and
yeah.
Bernthal's like a
He's
psychopath.
Great.
No,
He's great.
but he can really,
Yeah.
he's busting people
He's
up.
really good.
Right? And there's some great shootouts, great action scenes, and it's also very clever how they use the young genii back where he's from and wherever it is, New Hampshire or wherever, right?
Yeah.
And I liked them both a lot. I'd go B+ on both of them. They're both very well done, and again,
they're just good summer popcorn movies.
my proof, my test is
I didn't fall asleep.
no. Well, you didn't fall asleep, and I never once did that.
Yeah, no.
Because if I do that, then
it was good.
It's a problem.
It was good.
And I didn't look at my watch one
They're
time.
fun
either one.
for a movie. You don't have to invest a series.
This is Tony, Toni, from Philadelphia, assuming a she, Tony. I just finished the show We Were Liars, and it had one of the best twist endings ever, TV or movies. Don't want to spoil it in case you or your fans are wanting to see it. We might try it.
Yeah, I looked it up. Looks pretty good.
We Were Liars, okay. So for both of you, ask Toni, what is your all-time favorite twist ending? And it can be a movie or a TV show, okay? Did you write some down?
I got
Good
some.
for you. Did some homework.
I did my homework.
She's learning.
Okay.
Pressed.
Chinatown.
Yep, I agree. I got Chinatown on my list.
Chinatown.
My mother, my sister.
Yeah, that was good.
All right.
Psycho.
Fade that away. Okay, I thought about Psycho. I can't even watch it again because it wrecked my life.
Psycho,
I'm still affected. Now I'm going to have bad dreams tonight about Psycho. But I guess you mean the twist that...
Well, because when he turns around and he's got a sweater on and he's his mother is a kind of a psycho ending. Okay, so I'd say that.
Hitchcock.
I did have Planet of the Apes on mine.
You know what? I also wrote it down only because... on the beach at the end, he's crawling along the beach, and he sees the Statue of Liberty comes up out of the beach, and you realize, wait a second, this whole movie took place on Earth.
Yeah,
you feel like it's on another planet of the apes.
Everybody, and there's all the apes.
Yeah.
The apes are the people. Okay. And then I have a couple of extra ones that I threw in, but I have The Residence. I thought was good at the end when you figure it out finally who was the one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Series, The Residence.
It's just a reveal.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
I'm not sure it's a twist, but it's a reveal.
I got a couple.
It didn't shock me.
I got a couple more, so I'm going past.
Wait.
Okay.
You
just hit me in the head.
Sorry.
Paradise.
Okay. We watched it. Yeah.
I think that the ending was good.
Yeah, I don't know how it was a flip or twist ending.
Okay. Well, I don't know. Like a reveal and a twist is both basically the same.
Okay.
Okay, and then I just had a couple others that I just threw in as extra.
All right.
Perfect Couple, the series, that was pretty good because you didn't know that it was Fanning who was the...
That's true. Okay, that's a reveal to me. It's not a twist. It's just who done it.
Okay, and then I wrote The Watcher, that series with Naomi Watts. And Bobby Cannavale. Remember?
I don't remember.
They buy the house.
Oh,
and
yeah,
the house
yeah.
has weird stuff.
Okay,
and in the end, it was the son.
It was the son.
Anyway, those are mine.
That's just, again, a reveal to me.
So I like...
But I liked your first ones.
Okay, well...
Okay, well,
Chinatown, Psycho.
The all-timer is Darth is Luke's father, right?
Oh.
I mean, that's a plot twist.
I'm not a big fan.
I know you're not, but that was just huge.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And then one of our favorite movies all time is Once Upon a Time.
Oh.
In
Hollywood. Yeah. Oh.
And you want to talk about
that was
flip
a great
ending.
That was a great
because
ending.
You think you're going to watch the Manson murders.
Yeah, that was excellent.
You get the biggest plot twist ever.
Yeah,
at the end of
I think that was great. That was really good.
Great.
Because that was the way you really wanted it to be.
Yeah, I mean,
she didn't
you
get
got
killed.
the ultimate feel-good.
Yes.
Not
kill the bad guys.
Yeah, kill the bad guys. You got the ultimate revenge. On the Manson murderers.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay, that was a good one. I forgot about that one.
Gotta wait.
Okay, that's a good one.
Down. Okay, so that's a good one.
Yeah.
And then classics were Sixth Sense, where you don't know until the end. Oh, wait a second.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got that. I don't need to. Yeah, I hate to give these away in case people are going to try. And then the other classic was The Usual Suspects.
That's a good one.
Where the Kevin Spacey character.
Don't give it away. But,
okay, but he starts to walk faster and faster at the end. He doesn't limp anymore, and you say, "Wait a second."
Yeah.
Okay, so that
was good. Yeah.
Okay, this is. I don't know how many people know this movie, but this for me was my all-time flip ending. Was young Ed Norton. I think it was his breakout role in Primal Fear. Do you remember this?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I looked up twist ending weird movies.
Yeah.
And that was on it.
Okay, because it's amazing that he plays this victim, and at the very end he goes chillingly into the bad guy.
Yeah, yeah.
In the jail cell, he suddenly becomes the bad guy, and you're like, what? Yeah. And he pulls it off, and he is so evil when he goes from pathetic to evil. Okay, it's incredible. And then I got to throw this out because I'm sure some people do people remember The Crying Game?
I remember The Crying Game.
And what a reveal it was.
It was a very big movie. Don't tell the ending, but it's worth looking up.
But it had a big reveal.
That's a big twist that took over the entertainment world.
Okay, there we go.
That was good.
All right, this is Tiffany from Portland, as in Oregon, not Maine, who asked, "What are you most afraid of, Ernestine?" That's a deep question.
Kind of weird things.
What are you most afraid of?
Well, I'm claustrophobic.
She is.
So I don't like elevators at all.
Or MRIs, no way.
No way MRI.
In the tube?
Yeah, no way. So claustrophobic is a big fear, which then takes me to flying, which I fly and I have flown a lot. But once they close that door, it's kind of a weird feeling.
Agreed.
It's not like I flip out on a plane, but I just don't like planes. And I guess going blind and going deaf.
Wow.
I don't know.
Okay, well,
those are like,
deep.
Well, they are.
Yeah.
My father had bad eyes from diabetes, and I don't know. So those are my fears.
All right.
Some of my fears. I got a long list, but those are the top. What about you?
You fear dying more.
Oh yes. Oh, that I forgot that. That's definitely up there. Oh,
Right?
that's a daily thing.
I don't fear dying.
I'm like Woody Allen. Oh yeah. Yeah, big time.
I believe in the afterlife more than you do.
Wow.
I think we're just here for a short time.
Well, that's a fact, whether or not you believe it or you don't believe it. But yeah.
But in this earthly plane that we're in, what I fear most is being broke.
Oh, you have a big financial thing. That's right, because your father was.
Yep.
Okay.
Being broke, the ultimate. That would be it.
Well, there's a fine line between being homeless and not being homeless.
Yeah.
So
Fine
people
line.
don't realize that.
Yeah.
When they see someone homeless on the street, they just think, oh, look at, he's just homeless. But a lot of those people once had a really good job and they were part of the establishment but hard times comes and is that really fine line, whether you're going to make it or you're not. So
only by the grace of God go we.
That is exactly. So maybe don't look at homeless people like that.
And finally, from YouTube, this is Nick Logan, 12, who says, "Skip, you never talk about your sister. I know she's passed, she has, but wonder what your relationship with her was like." And again, I don't want to go too deeply in this because people will start looking at their watch or just turn us off, but I've talked about how I wasn't close to my brother, nor was I close to my sister. Loved them both, very different than both. Tried to be close to my sister, who was very close with my brother. They bonded and resented me for not sort of saving them from my mother and father and our broken home life. And I kind of left them in a lurch. Hazel gets a treat. I left them in a mess.
Well, you were older and you were living your life.
When I won a scholarship to go to Vanderbilt, as soon as I saw the note on the table when I came in one night in May, my senior year of high school, I saw callback area 615, and I knew in an instant I had won this Grantland Rice Scholarship, which is a full ride to Vanderbilt University.
Well, it changed your life.
It changed my life,
So.
and I was literally free. I had escaped, and I knew it. I knew I was finally free to be me. I was out from under, and I think my brother and sister never quite forgave me for leaving them in the mess that I left them in, but I didn't know how else to do it.
Well, it's hard.
Because as the oldest, I had taken such a literal and figurative beating from my father, and in some ways psychologically from my mother, that I finally just said, I'm out, and I'm sorry, but I'm gone. And I'd reached out to my sister many times without response. And I don't know exactly why, but it was another very troubling part of a lonely but weirdly fun childhood that I have, because I was on my own from 10 years of age on.
But there was 6 years between you and your sister.
There was
and 7 years, and 2 between you and Rick. So
anyway,
different
they
world.
bonded, but I loved my sister, and she was strong and she was tough. And she had stage 4 breast cancer that I first heard about when I went back for the NBA Finals in 2012, and she made it all the way. I think she lasted for 7 more years, maybe 8 more years. And she was a fighter. She was a competitor. She was tough. My family, all 3 of us, the kids are tough kids. And I love her. I can't say I miss her because I didn't really know her that well. And she was very hard on me because I didn't spend enough time with her kids that we barely got to know. But I love you, Luann. Okay, to end up, we have 3 quick questions about her, and she knows this is about her, so she is speaking to you right now. This is all about Hazel. I posted a picture last week of Hazel sleeping in her bed at my feet while I'm watching yet another game, whatever it was. And you call her a bat.
She is. She sleeps upside down.
She sleeps upside down. Hey.
She says, I'm not a bat. She says, I'm not a bat.
You can look up the picture on my Twitter, Instagram, my ex.
She likes to sleep with her feet up, feet straight up in the air.
Straight up in the air.
Why do you do that?
And then she has her head backwards out of her bed on the floor. So she's hanging this way with her neck back. And as you know, if we tried to sleep like that, the blood would go in your head and you would get a headache, right?
She does that all the time.
It would be extremely uncomfortable. And I put a caption on the pictures. How is this comfortable?
She loves that.
And
she does
it
all
from
the
Angela
time.
Nimoli, who says, Samantha, my sweet Yorkie, also slept like that.
That's
so
funny.
Cute.
Okay, so she's not this.
There we go.
So there are other wackos like her.
And this is from Oman 04. Hazel is probably thinking, don't knock it till you try it. Well, Oman,
that's true.
I don't think I want to try neck back off the bed, off the edge of the bed, because, man, you want to talk about I already have a stiff enough neck.
That's true. You could never do that.
Stiff neck in the morning, God.
She stretches it out.
She just stretches. She loves it. She's so elastic. And finally, from Ian Watson, Hazel is the only child people should want. I agree with that. She would not agree with that because she
want a
thinks
demon
she's
child.
A terror.
You want a demon child.
Right? You call her, you
Hazel's
and Joyce, your sister, call her the terror of Tiny Town.
Terror of Tiny Town.
Right?
She's the terror of Tiny Town. She is.
And I love her.
Problem
Hazel,
child.
I got your back.
Yeah.
Your mom doesn't have your back.
No.
Just remember
but
that.
Your mom is the one that
it's
feeds
all about
you.
Me. She does feed, and she does pick up the poop.
And takes care of her every day.
That's it for round 31. And we'll see you next week if, in fact, we're still speaking.
We'll be speaking. And Hazel says bye. Peace out.